That barbecue, it's a secret. I'm giving it away, even so, my family most likely disown me after I do that, but now I like to share that with you because it's the best I ever had. It was given to us in 1845 by my great-great-uncle Waldemar.
Cooking Secrets of the CIA is made possible by Cuisinart, makers of professional series food processors, with industrial quality motor, Lexan work pole, large feed tube for whole slices, and flat baking cover. Everything you need to simplify your life.
And by the Weber-Stephen Products Company, makers of the Summit Series gas grills, designed to meet the rigorous and scrupulous standards of professional chefs. Summit Series grills, designed to last the rest of your life. Weber, the legend lives on.
Short ribs. They're just fantastic. They're moist, they're delicious, they're aromatic. They're just heaven by itself. And I have to show you how to make them perfectly lovable, detectable, and tasteable. And what we basically do with that, it's very simple. We just take a short rib and buy it by the butcher, have it cut properly, take the fat off, and then just take it in and cut it about 1.5 inches deep to the bone, all the way through. About 1.5 inches apart. And when we have this one done, we just take that and put it over here. And now we're going to prepare a delicious marinade here to bring really the flavors out of that beef. And for that what we need is some English mustard, brown sugar, sesame seeds, scallions, and finally not to forget some beautiful chopped garlic. This really gives the extra flavor, and I personally like garlic, so I add a bit more to that. What we do the next part is just mix it together so all the components which we have in here come together into one flavor. When we have this one done, we add to that is some soy sauce, light soy sauce with a little salt. Just mix it right together. Then we add to that some balsamic vinegar. Ooh, is that good? Just right through that. And of course, not to forget some sesame oil. When all these things come together, as we have them here, let it sit normally for about 5 minutes or so, just the marinade actually can really pick up the flavor. And then we're going to marinate. Well, you can put it in a little pot if you want to, but I find that small little zip bag is really good to do that by just adding our meat right into that. And it's not messy, it's nice, you can put it right in the refrigerator without any problem, but just taking them and just pour a little bit in at a time. And then just close it up, sip it away, and put it in the refrigerator, leave it there for about 2 hours or overnight. I prefer overnight because it picks up better flavor and gives you also that really type of a sesame flavor and all the garlic and all these parts inside to make it delicious. And now we have the marinade in here. We're just going to put it in the refrigerator for 2 hours overnight. And we have one prepared for you already so you can see how it looks. Let me give this to Peter here. Thank you, Peter. And here we have one ready, done in the refrigerator, just marinated. And what we have to do now is just to open it up. And let's see what we have, what kind of secret we have inside here. We're going to just bring our little ribs out. Look at it, how gorgeous they look already. We just put them right in front of us here. And we have another one right in here. And they already have an aroma which is just, I wish we would have smell aroma, but that's just perfect right here. And so we take that, of course, make sure we sip it up again because we could use the marinade again later on and see to make our sauce with that. So let's just put it on the side here. And now basically we're ready to grill that. For grilling, of course, we need a good grill. And the grill is here as we have it here, is already preheated. We're going to shut off and see one side of the grill, so you give it basically what it's called indirect heat. And when we then have this done, then we're basically ready for grilling. And what we need here is a little bit of oil, olive oil of course, brushed to see on the top of the ribs here, just a little bit. And then we're going to take them and put them right onto the grill. You hear an immediate sizzle. That's good to see that the grill is nice and hot. You're also going to see a couple of flames coming up. And at that time, it's really important for you to really watch a little bit, because really you want to make it the best ever. And so you just watch a little bit. Just when you see the flames come up too high, you start to turn it right over. And you can see there are beautiful markings right on top of the grill. That's just outstanding. And the aroma here is breathtaking as it goes along. We're going to take that and just move the rib right on the other side. And bear now in mind that the other side really doesn't have any heat below. And you see, we can actually control it by a small thermometer, which we have right on the side here. What we want to have in there basically is just about a little below 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and control it. And can you watch it once in a while? You want to leave it in there for about 3/4 of an hour to an hour, or until you can move the bones easily off the grill. Let me just have one more peek inside there. Ooh, I had to, because the aroma is just something which I dream about. That's grilling. Now comes the Sherlockian secret. We open up, say, and voila, halfway time. At that time, we're going to take a little bit of the marinade, and first of all, we're going to brush it on to give some extra flavor to that. At the same time, you may want to make a touch type of thing. You want to take them and very fast, to see with your finger, just give them a little touch. And what I'm looking here for is just the right type of texture. And basically what it is, you just take your hand and say, if you make the fist very light and you touch it right here, and it's very bouncy, that's what's rare. That's in the beginning when we put it on. Then you make a little more type of a power to your fist and you touch it again. That's what I'm looking right now, halfway through. And then become a real Schwarzenegger and really put the muscles together, but you can put it all over the place. And what you get then is, see, when you touch it here, is a very firm type of a feeling. That's what I'm looking at it when it's ready. The easy way to do it is the easy way to feel, because cooking is really from the heart. Now comes the moment of reckoning. Our ribs are ready, and they look just outstanding. I'll take the ribs right off and put it right on the plate here. Look at this, how luscious they look. Look at this, how nice and a nice sheen they have on top of it. We put it right in front of us, and at that time, you see, we may want to brush a little bit off the marinade, which I have preheated beforehand. Let's just put a little bit on there, just to make them nice and shiny, and give some extra flavor to that. Now here we have the ready cooked ones, and look how nice and pulsy they are. They're full of life. And here I have one, you see, which are overcooked on purpose. It really hurt me to do that, but just to show you the difference. See how dry it is, has no sheen on it. It's overcooked, and when I take it, you can see how dry it is, right in the middle here. And if I take one of them over here, and just take a little one out of the center here, you see how nice and moistureful that right is. Can you see the glitter of that, while the dryness of here? So you never want to do it this way, you always want to do it the right way, because that's what makes food, you see, alive.
This dish is chicken breast with a southwestern flair. It's served with a black bean sauce, mango salsa, and the chicken's rubbed with a dry barbecue rub. The first thing we need to do is make the mango salsa. Here I have some nice ripe mango that I've diced up, about a 1/4 inch dice. And I'm going to add several ingredients. First I add some chopped scallions, green onions, some tomato that's been peeled, seeded, and diced, about a 1/4 inch dice also, green pepper that's been roasted, peeled, and seeded and diced, red pepper, treated the same way as the green pepper, roasted, peeled, seeded, and diced, A few spices, some serrano chilies, very finely minced, some ancho chili powder, and some cumin, powdered cumin. And last, just a little olive oil to moisten everything up. Just mix this up. And we're going to let this macerate for a while we prepare the chicken. Boy, doesn't that look great already, though? I'm going to add a little black pepper and just a little bit of salt. Salt for flavor and also help to draw out some of the juices. Okay, while that's marinating, I'm going to make the dry rub. And this is a barbecue style rub. Here are all my spices. I have oregano, cumin, mustard, sugar, paprika, ancho chili powder, black pepper, salt, and a little bit of coriander. I'll just scoop these all into the bowl, into this pie pan. Sugar, paprika, ancho chili powder, pepper and salt, coriander. There we go. Do that. Just mix that up. We have a nice mixture. It smells fantastic. It even looks like the Southwest if you take a look at it. I prepared 2 boneless chicken breasts, well, almost boneless chicken breasts. They're almost boneless because the rib cage is taken out, but the wing bone is left on. In professional terminology, we call that a supreme. And I'm going to sprinkle it with this dry rub. The dry rubs are a great technique to use in grilling. You can use it with chicken or any kinds of meats, even fish. So I sprinkle it on both sides. Get it nicely seasoned. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of oil on. Very little bit of oil just to moisten it. I want to make sure that it doesn't stick on the grill. But I only need a little bit because we do have the chicken skin left on the chicken. A little bit, just rub that in. If you wanted to pre-marinate these, let them sit for a little while, that would be great too. But if you don't have time, that's fine to go right to the grill. The chicken breasts will cook. It'll probably take about 5 minutes. We're going to just let them cook away. Black beans are a wonderful accompaniment for grilled chicken dishes. And to make the black bean sauce, we're going to add a little olive oil to the pan, some chopped garlic, and we'll saute it just until we get the aroma. We don't want to brown the garlic. Now we add pre-cooked black beans. These can be pre-purchased or you can simmer them with onions and a little bit of ham hock in water. The black beans go into the pan. We add some chicken stock, oregano, and some cumin, a few grinds of the peppermill, and we'll let that simmer just so all the flavors combine for 15 or 20 minutes. The beans are cooked, and we're going to take them to the food processor. We're only going to puree about half of the mixture. It's not a scientific measurement, just sort of a gut feel. And what this will do is to thicken the sauce. The next step is to pour them into the bowl. We'll just scoop that out. And we'll mix this all together. Some final seasoning, salt, black pepper, black bean sauce, a wonderful accompaniment for many grilled foods. We'll give it a flip. Nicely browned. Okay, I can tell by the resistance, the chicken's fairly firm but still juicy. It's just about done. It needs about another minute. It'll just be perfect in terms of timing as we finish this dish. This is our black bean sauce that we've been simmering. And the consistency is good. We just need to check the seasoning. Maybe just a grind of pepper. And I think that should be good. We'll spoon the black bean sauce onto the plate. This will be a wonderful bed for that barbecued chicken. There we go. I'm going to add some chopped cilantro to the salsa, and I like to add it at the last minute just to keep the cilantro flavor nice and fresh and keep the color green. We'll remove the chicken. Perfectly cooked. Place it on the plate. Some of the mango salsa. And for a finishing touch, I have a little sour cream that I just put in a little homemade pastry bag here, and I'll just pipe some right over the top. There we go. Great. And there's the finished dish. It's a dry rub barbecue chicken breast on black bean sauce with a mango salsa.
When I think of grilling, I think of succulent, juicy, barbecued spare ribs. And we have one right in front of us here. And the first thing what you need to know is that you don't want to buy them over 3 pounds. 3 pounds and under, because it gives you much more meat rather than bones. Sometimes to remove the fat, you can just take a spoon and just take the spoon and actually scrape it. The fat should come off very, very easy on the side parts. And you just do that and you take the fat off. Or if you don't want to go with a spoon, for example, you can take also the knife and just remove it with the knife by taking some of the fat off. Because if you leave too much fat on, later on you may get too much flame on the grill and then it will burn it. See, rather than giving that sweet flavor, it gives you a bitter flavor. We're going to show you 2 ways how to prepare them. One is a American marinade and the other one is a Thai rub. And here we actually have everything together for that. Plain white wine vinegar. Mix a little bit of arrowroot right into that. Just mix it right into it. It should actually dissolve right away. Immediately to it, just a little bit more there. Soy sauce, some honey. Never forget that nice honey. And now I see the little bees are what you call watching me right now doing these things. They'll come upon me in a minute. Of course, not to forget the all-American tomato ketchup. We add a little bit of garlic to that. And then finally, so you can actually really play around with that. You can put some different type of herbs in there. Here I have some chili powder. I put just a little bit to that. I've got a little bit of black pepper there. Just about 1/3 of a teaspoon. A little bit of mace. Just got that beautiful type of flavor for that. And then of course not to forget some cardamom, which gives some terrific aroma for that. Now we have all the ingredients ready. Bring it over here onto the range and just bring it up to a boil and simmer it for about 5 minutes. And then of course ready to be put on the rib. Now let me show you the next type of a rib which we're going to do here. And for this we're going to have to make a rub and the ingredients we have already. Now they're delicious type of ingredients. The first we're going to add to that is some dried powdered onions. Then we're going to add to that some lemongrass. We add a little bit toasted coriander seeds. Of course some brown sugar. Then we're going to add to that some garlic powder. Then some red pepper, some ginger, some lime zest, some cumin seeds that really gives the little finger to that. A couple of black peppercorns. And finally a touch of salt. Once we have all these ingredients together, we just take out a mortar or the back of a spoon and really mash them together. So they become a type of a nice combined flavor of all the ingredients we have together. And then when we have this one done, we'll take that and just rub it onto our rib. And just start bringing it over our rib here. And just really, and put a little power to that. Really rub it in, rub-a-dubby. That's what it comes to it. Just feel that flavor pulsating right into the meat. Just put a little bit more in there. And we just rub it right into it. The better we rub it, the better the flavor is in that little type of rib. Back and forth. Put a little bit more on the side here. So everything is completely covered with the rub. We take it to the refrigerator and just keep it there for about 50 minutes and then we're ready actually to grill. And while the Peter's putting in the refrigerator, is, let me look and see how our marinade is. Our marinade is ready. We have it right here. It has now, as it just become nice and thick, as you can see. And now we're ready to brush it onto our rib, making sure that all parts of the meat are completely covered on both sides. Very generous. Just feel as if like you become a Michelangelo for a second, and as you make the Sistine Chapel right as here onto your ribs here. Now we just put a little more of the marinade in our rib. We're basically ready to put it onto the grill. It's just lift it right onto the flame and close it right away. And we're ready to make our second rib, which is now marinated for about 15 minutes in the refrigerator. It is ready now to be put on the grill also. And all what we need for that, and Peter, if you want to take this with you for the time being, thank you very much, is we just put a little bit of oil on that. Of course, I prefer olive oil, but anybody can take any oil which you like to prefer. Just put a little bit of oil on either side. You can see that flavor really pulsating out of the rib. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to that because basically the rub is very dry, and if I don't have the oil on there, it will stick to the grill, and again, all the flavor is on the grill but not on the rib by itself. So the oil actually is a lubricant to make it non-stick, so to speak. At that time, you see we have our rib actually being marked on one side. We're just going to take it and we just turn it over to the other side. You can see the nice markings already. We'll leave it there for about another minute or so before we put the other rib there in order to also mark it and caramelize it to give flavor to that. Take the rib now and move it to the other side. And basically we're ready to slide our second rib right onto the grill. The two flavors actually marinate together and give us two tones of flavor. The aroma of it right now is already breathtaking. And it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes before we start to check it. It takes about 30 minutes to cook. Now we're ready to just check our ribs now, which are nicely cooking. And it's always good to see once in a while to baste them with the marinade. So we're just going to brush a little more marinade onto the rib in order to keep them nice and moist and flavorful. When we have this one done, we just close it back. And then I'm going to make my favorite barbecue sauce. And what I have done here basically is I have pre-sauteed some garlic and some red onions, which are already here together. And I just want to say that barbecue, it's a secret. I'm giving it away, even so my family most likely disown me after I do that. But now I like to share that with you because it's the best I ever had. It was given to us in 1845 by my great-great-uncle Waldemar as payment for the fee because he was a doctor. And what we need here, what I said before, we have some garlic and some onions in here. We're going to add to that is some orange concentrate, a little bit chicken stock, Heinz 57, not to forget America's favorite, tomato ketchup, a little bit Worcestershire sauce, nice finely chopped chervil. Just mix all these items nicely together. I remember my mother used to pick it from the garden, and that was the secret, she said. Then we add to that a little bit of mace, a bit of black pepper, and then comes the piece de resistance. This is the secret. I let it out of the bag now, it's just for you. It is some nice espresso coffee. I'm going to add it right to that. And of course now you have to be a little messy when it comes to do some of the barbecues. Is just mix it together and then take it back onto the fire and just bring it to a boil and then simmer for about 15 minutes and my favorite barbecue sauce is ready. My secret is out. Please forgive me. Mother, please forgive me. The magic moment. We're ready. Ah, they look fantastic. I can't wait to bring them over and to taste one and say, look at them, how luscious they look. Look how beautiful they are. They're ready for to be cut. They're ready to be eaten. And what I'm going to do here basically is very simple. After you take them out, we're just going to cut them with a knife by just following where we have the little in between the bones. You just bring them down and just rip by rip. And if you can't find it, you just take a little bit. I'm going to take them right over here and put them now on the side part here. Oh, they're nice and succulent. They're just perfectly done. Oh, I can't wait for eating them. And the last one, I leave it like it is because that is for me. I like big pieces, so I put it right over here, right next to me. And of course then, the next surprise is our Asian rib, which is ready here waiting to come onto the board. Now look at that color. Look at that beautiful type of aroma. I wish you could smell it right through the camera because it's just excellent. And we're going to take the same thing here. We start to cut them right where the ribs are. And sometimes you have to guess a little bit where they are. And look at them, how nice they are. Ooh, ah, ee. I have no other words because they're so nice. I'm going to just cut them right through here. And again, the last piece is for the chef. Always for the chef, the last piece. We just put it right over here. You see the difference? One is a little bit darker, one is lighter. It's because one is a rub and one is a marinade. And what we do right now, we're going to arrange that so we really can enjoy it afterwards. Now look at that. So the next to my favorite barbecue sauce. So look at this, look at this. How nice this looks. And basically, it is ready. It is a masterpiece, I have to say that. It is perfect, it's succulent. I will have to dip it into my barbecue sauce. And I wish you could eat it with me. Oh, it is ecstasy. We've done ribs and we've done rubs. And now we do racks. Rack of lamb that is. And all we have to do really to do that is just take one of my favorite barbecue sauce and just brush it right onto the rack. Just turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. It's a very simple type of dish. Doesn't take very long. When we have that rub done, we just take a little bit of oil and just brush a little oil on either side. So just it doesn't stick to the grill. Do the same thing on the other side. Just very lightly. And we're basically ready to see the grill. We move from the high heat to the low heat. We just want to check the temperature of it. And just insert our thermometer right into the center of the rack. And we can see it only has a little bit over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And as we're looking for 128, it is not ready. We remove that. Now we're going to close our grill and then we're going to make our salsa. For that, of course, we need a nice hot pan and we need some olive oil, which we add right to it. Some finely chopped white onions and just let them saute for a minute or so. Then we add to that is some garlic. And just let it sit there for about a minute just to see to get the aroma. As a matter of fact, when you start to smell that beautiful onion and garlic aroma in your nose, you're ready to continue with the sauce. When you have that done, you just add some fresh kernel corn to that. And then just saute it a little bit through. It's actually very easy. I practiced this last night, so I just can do it today for you. And then as it heats up, we add to it my favorite barbecue sauce. Let it get hot, and then the piece de resistance. We take a little bit tequila and just add the tequila to that. However, whenever you use any type of alcohol is inflaming, it is very important always to take it off the fire, never over the fire. So we bring it off the fire, we just add our tequila to it, and then bring it back on again. And as we start to flame it, and flame out the alcohol, so we just get that nice flavor right into that. Ooh, is that good. And when we have that one done, we just let it sit a little bit and just cook it. It just takes a minute or so, and then we add to that last little ingredient, which really makes it fantastic, is some nicely chopped coriander greens. What an aroma. What an aroma. It's just perfect for it. And now we're ready to check our wrap. It is ready by now. Let's just put it onto our cutting board here. And it's always advisable to let it rest for about 4 or 5 minutes so the juices can really settle down. But while this is resting here, let me just take the salsa which we just have prepared and put it right onto our plate. Look at how nice that looks. It's just perfect. Our lamb, as it has rested now, just take that and just cut it into small little, look at that beautiful color. We just put one right over here. We cut the next one. And the last one with the 2 bones, as I said before, that is for me. And just to finish that, we take a little chervil and just put it right in the middle here, just to give a little bit of garnish. And here our dish is ready, succulent, delicious, just waiting to be eaten. Enjoy.
I've just come from the fantastic herb garden that we have here at the Culinary Institute of America and picked these fresh herbs, tarragon, chives, thyme, and parsley, to make the foamy butter sauce, and that's the first thing that we're going to do. We're going to first make a reduction of white wine vinegar and white wine, and we're going to add some finely minced shallots. We'll just let that boil for a while until the liquid is almost all evaporated. There we go. While that's cooking, I'm going to prepare the herbs. First, I'll open up the trout. These are boneless trout. We'll just take some chives and mince a few chives up. We sprinkle them on. Some fresh tarragon. And we'll chop that up. Just coarsely is fine. Sprinkle some of the tarragon on. Some fresh parsley. This is the flat leaf variety. And we'll sprinkle that on as well. Now, the juice of a lemon, half on each fish. We'll just pick those seeds out as so. And inside, we'll put some fresh thyme, some sprigs of fresh thyme. A little fresh ground pepper, and I see an errant seed here too. We'll take those out. And some salt. Now it's best if these marinate for about an hour, so I'm going to close them up, let them marinate, and I've prepared some in advance. Here they are. Now I'm going to pour over a little bit of olive oil just to lubricate them and sort of move them around a little bit. Now they're ready to go on the grill. Just get them coated really nicely with that olive oil. Olive oil is great for flavoring, and of course it'll also help keep the trout from sticking. Now we can go to the grill. The grill is nice and hot, nice and clean. That's another tip to help keep things from sticking. And we'll put them right on the grill. Now we're going to check our reduction, and it's nicely reduced. There's very little liquid left in the pan. That means we're ready to start. To make the sauce, we're going to incorporate butter while constantly whipping into this reduction. The French would call this a beurre blanc. We call it foamy butter sauce. And I just keep on whipping as I incorporate that butter. Now this is a sauce that is delicious, but also it's really, really neat because there's no thickening agent, yet if you do it properly, it'll be slightly thickened. See how it's foaming? Look at that foam. I continue to shake it and whip it. The butter is fully emulsified. All the butter is in. Nice and foamy, looks great. Now it's time to check the fish. Our fish are ready to flip. And we'll just slide the spatula under there. Sometimes the skin will stick, you can't be afraid of that. And flip them over. Little sticking, not too bad. And perfect. We'll finish them off on that side and then we'll be ready to serve. We'll just continue to whip our sauce a little bit here as that fish finishes. And we'll adjust our seasoning. Some salt, some fresh pepper. We always use fresh ground pepper rather than the stuff that comes in the can. It has a much better flavor, and you can really notice the difference. The sauce is ready to go, and we're going to wait a minute for the fish to finish. Fish should be just about done. We'll check them out. They feel done. The meat is firm, but I can still see that it's juicy, so let's pull them off. Foamy butter sauce. I put it around the fish, not over top, and the reason why is because I don't want to sog that wonderfully crisp trout skin. It's delicious. And I'll finish by sprinkling with some roughly cut fresh herbs. And there you have it, grilled trout stuffed with herbs and served with a foamy butter sauce.
Vegetarian food is one of the great mysteries of the universe. But today I would like to show you how to make a very simple dish, a kebab, which is just perfect for the right occasion. And what we have here is all fresh type of vegetables and mushrooms. Portobello mushroom, we have some cherry tomatoes, some beets, some basil, some yellow bell peppers, and of course a little bit of olive oil. To put it together, it's very simple. We first take a portobello which we have quartered, then a small cherry tomato, then a little bit of the basil, then a yellow pepper, then a small quarter beet, which is pre-cooked by the way. Then we do the same thing again. A little mushroom, cherry tomato, little basil, yellow pepper, and the mushroom. And the kebab is ready. And here we have some ready-made beforehand. And let's just add these to that. In order to get them ready now for the grill, we need just to take a little bit of olive oil and just make sure that we brush all the mushrooms and all the vegetables nicely with the olive oil. And it's very important that we actually put a little bit more on there so it's soaked in a little bit into the mushrooms. So don't hesitate to use a little bit of the olive oil to that. It's extra flavor. At the same time, it also does not stick to the grill by itself. By doing that, that's a nice job also because it calms the nerves when you do that. I do it every night, you see, before I go to bed. I brush actually a kebab or two just to get myself calmed down. And now we're ready basically to put it onto the grill. We take our kebabs and just bring it right onto the grill. Of course, important again is to have medium heat, not very high, because we want to very slowly let them cook right through. And now our kebabs are ready. And look at that color. Look at that. Isn't that just great? We just take it off the grill now and put it right here onto our platter. And look at that color, that vibrant color. Now that's vegetarian cooking. springtime, summertime, fall and winter, kebabs are just the right food. It's just the right snack food for any time of get-together, for any type of family reunion, weddings, whatever you think of, kebabs are just the thing for that. And what I want to show you today is basically to make a very simple one, and what we use for that is figs, kumquats, caramelized walnuts, and some Parma ham. In order to make that, we need to take some of the figs here, and we take some of the kumquats, and we take some of the walnuts. And what we do here basically is first we cut them in half. And each one, you see, is of course cut nicely in half. Then we take our Parma ham, which is thinly sliced, you see, on a slicer, chop the fig with a little walnut, just press it into that, and start rolling it together. We do this 4 times. And just press it down a little bit so the Parma ham is nice and tight. All we need to see is the skewer, which of course should be soaked for about 2 hours in cold water so it doesn't burn as easy on the grill. By just piercing it right through the walnut, which is actually very soft from the cooking process. Just put them together. And here we have some ready-made beforehand in order to speed up the process a little bit. And what we have to do now is just to take a little bit of olive oil and just brush each of the kebabs on both sides, just lightly with the oil, before we put it on the grill, so they don't stick to the grill. It is easier for them to get it off. So we just turn it around, do a little brushing here. And when we have this one done, we're basically ready to grill them. And before we start to grill them, you see, I have another type of a kebab for you, which I just think is perfect for any type of occasion, especially in the summertime. A fruit kebab. And for that, actually, what we need is very simple. We need some pineapples, we need some bananas, we need some oranges, some French bread, and some tomatoes. We just take the items right off and put it right onto our skewer, which of course is watered for about an hour or so. We're going to add a bit of bread to that. Then we're going to add a tomato slice to that. Then a pineapple. Just skewer them. Then a banana. And then we start descending again by just taking a little bit of orange and a little bread. And we finish that with a tomato. And batter is ready to be used. So we have made a couple beforehand, so you can see how they look and see when they're ready. And we just put them all together here. And basically at that time we take a little bit of rum and just put a little bit of rum over to soak the bread as well as all the food with a little bit of rum. You can also use some kirschwas if you want to. And now we oil our kebabs very nicely. And that's very important because when we put it onto the hot grill, we don't want to have them stick to that. When we have this one done, we're basically ready to put them on the grill. Important here is that we use medium heat. We just take our grills and put it right onto the grill, right next to each other. And then of course we take our figs, put them on the grill also. Once we have this done, we close it and leave it for there for about 2-3 minutes, then turn it and check it again. And now they're ready. And let's just bring out, here's our fig kebab. Let's alternate them a little bit. We get different type of colors on here. And here we have it. Fig kebabs, fruit kebabs with a beautiful espresso sauce. Now they are vegans and they are carnivores. And for them, you see, we have designed a kebab which is made from tenderloin of beef, some blanched shallots, some Gruyere cheese and bacon, some mushrooms and some cucumbers. It's actually a very easy thing. All we need to take is the Gruyere cheese and put it into small little cubes. Take some of the bacon slices and just roll them or wrap them around. And then just alternate the little thing on the skewer. First we add a mushroom to that. Then we're going to add a piece of beef. Then a little bit of the cheese and bacon to that. Then a little mushroom. Then a little onion. Then again a little piece of beef. And a piece of cheese. And we finish this with a small little cucumber on the end. And we also put one on top just to even it out. Okay, now we need to brush that with a little bit of oil on all sides. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to that, just a little bit on all sides. And a little bit of the sweet paprika, just to give a little accency of the flavor to that. And of course, a little black pepper on it. And then of course we're ready to put into our grill. But this time we like to have a little bit higher than medium. Just in between high and medium. We'll just take our little kebabs, put them right onto the grill. Now we leave them there for 1 to 2 minutes and then turn them. And now we're going to turn our kebabs just very carefully. Close again, and in 1 to 2 minutes they're ready. And now our Carnivorian special is ready. And all we have to take it is off the grill. The cheese has now nicely melted. The bacon has become nice and crisp. The beef is just perfectly cooked. And here we are ready. A food which you can't deny. And for additional flavor, we're just going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice right over our kebabs. And that's food.
No, it's not Thanksgiving, and yes, this is a grilling show. So you may be wondering what I'm doing here with a turkey. We're going to grill this turkey. And what we're going to do to make it a little bit unique is we're going to stuff it under the skin. Let me show you how to do that. First, you have to choose some kind of stuffing, and it could be bread stuffing, cornbread stuffing, whatever your favorite is. But I've used a mushroom stuffing, just onions and garlic, sauteed mushrooms, and then a lot of fresh herbs, parsley, and a lot of sage. And we're going to take this and we're going to work from the wishbone side of the turkey and slide our fingers underneath the skin. And by putting the stuffing up here, it's going to baste the turkey and add a lot of flavor. So we take some of the stuffing and place it under the skin and work our way up through the legs, pushing the stuffing up. This is not the most elegant technique, but it's very effective, tastes great. You'll have a moist, juicy turkey. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to truss the turkey up to hold it together better as it grills. And I'll just use some butcher's twine here. Start around the Hope's nose, they call it. Cross over that way, around the legs. Cross over again. Get them tight as we can. Flip it over. Under the wings, tighten it. And then we'll tie it off. Excess string we'll cut off. Then I'm going to season the turkey. Both sides, salt and pepper. I'll just rub that in a little bit. And we're ready to go to the grill. I don't need to put any oil or butter on top at this point in time because I have that nice stuffing, and we're also going to baste it as we go later on. Okay, let's go to the grill. To grill a turkey, this is an indirect cooking method. So by that I mean we don't have the burner on directly underneath the turkey. This portion of the grill is off completely, and the two sides are on about medium heat. And what's going to happen when we place the turkey on here and we close it, it's the process of convection. It's going to bake. And I have, well, of course I cook this at home all the time, and I have a lot of friends, Chef Sonnenschmidt and a lot of other chefs at the school, cook turkey this way, and many folks say that once you cook turkey out on the outdoor grill, you'll never do it any other way. Let's put this turkey on and get it cooking. Right on the middle, about 11 minutes per pound, and we'll baste it occasionally with a sage butter sauce. While the turkey's cooking, we're going to baste it occasionally with the sage butter. We'll just go in there and brush him. He's a fine fella, looking very, very nice, starting to brown up nicely. You can see our stuffing showing through. And we'll let him continue to cook for another hour or so. Let's take a look. Wow, that looks fantastic. A lot of people take a temperature with a thermometer and about 160 degrees. I always check in the thigh portion because that'll be the last part to cook. Or you can just put a thin fork or skewer in there and see if the juices run clear. And I'm not getting any bloody juices, so the juices are running clear. So it's just about done. I'm going to give it another minute or two while we make the sauce. To make the sauce, and it's a mustard sauce, I just take a little bit of chicken stock, a little bit of white wine, place them in the pan, along with some heavy cream and a good amount of Dijon mustard. I'm going to whip all those ingredients together, and we're going to let this simmer, and the heavy cream and the mustard will naturally thicken the sauce. You want to be careful, though, that you don't let it boil over and make a mess all over your grill. The turkey's done. I'm starving, so let's pull it out. Look at that. Fantastic. We'll take it right off of the grill. And there we have it. Fantastic grilled turkey stuffed under the skin and served with a delicious mustard sauce.
Cooking Secrets of the CIA is made possible by Cuisinart, makers of professional series food processors, with industrial quality motor, Lexan work pole, large feed tube for whole slices, and flat baking cover. Everything you need to simplify your life.
And by the Weber-Stephen Products Company, makers of the Summit Series gas grills, designed to meet the rigorous and scrupulous standards of professional chefs. Summit Series grills, designed to last the rest of your life. Weber, the legend lives on.